So you may know that in the Dating Manifesto, I mentioned being diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis when I was in my late 20s. And for the first few years there, actually, the pain was getting so bad that some days I couldn't even get out of bed. And there were other days where I would go into work and just kind of stagger around. And really, for the first few years, the pain got progressively worse, to the point where I never thought it was actually going to get better. In fact, I really had thoughts occasionally that I would probably die from this, and sooner rather than later. And so, that's super sad, super depressing. But what's crazy is after some additional treatments and just after a few years waiting it in and seeing what God did, I noticed a turnaround. And it got to the point where gradually I started being able to do more and more things. And I got the idea to actually start marking those things, almost like we see in Scripture where we see standing stones, evidences of what God has done and evidences of Him fulfilling His promises. And so I've collected those stones in this little jar here, and they're all representative of different points in time when I was able to do something that I previously had not been able to do, and it's usually something physical. So this one says Friday Harbor, Washington, November of '04. This was right around the time when I started having my turnaround in my health, and I actually ran across this beach, and it was the first time I had run in probably 3 years, so that was really a big deal for me. This one talks about Moab in Utah and Hanging Lake. Those were hikes that I did Memorial Day weekend of 2006, and so I marked those. I have a whole bunch here. Here's one where I actually went below my house and changed my furnace filter, something I had not been able to do because it involved climbing down and crawling. That was at the end of '05. Other hikes, here's going down in a mine. All this to say, what it taught me was that we really don't know what God is going to do. I was very assumptive about where my story was going. I thought I had it all mapped out and it didn't look good at all. But God had different plans because God is sovereign. And that's what I talk about in the last chapter of the Dating Manifesto, how God takes our stories, whatever they are, the good, the bad, the ugly, and He does what He wants with them. He shapes our story in the way He wants it to go. And so I want to encourage you with that as you walk through dating, as you walk through preparation for marriage, as you walk through whatever you're going through in your life. Know that it's not over till it's over, and God's the one who has the final word. And isn't that such a great thing?